So I've got a really low quality setup going right now. I don't have a tripod or anything, so I literally am using pillows to do a tripod. So this is my one of my first videos from my new creation room or whatever you want to call it. I don't like the word studio because it's not a studio. It's just where I make videos. Um, one thing I was thinking about was I really miss, and I may have done a video about this before, but I really miss the era from like 2008 to 2015, maybe 2006 to 2013. I just feel like everything was a lot simpler back then, and the aesthetics were just awesome. Like, think about, you know, I was just watching that Justin Bieber music video, Beauty and a Beat, and it's just such a fun video. And all the stars that I grew up with, like Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, the Jonas Brothers. They all were sort of at their peak then. They were just, they weren't too young, they weren't too old, and they were just really making their best stuff. And the world just seemed better back then. I mean, the technology wasn't as good, but that was right when the first iPhones were coming out, and it wasn't all about streaming services. It was more like you watch Disney Channel on, if you got satellite TV, you watch Disney Channel, and Disney Channel was so much more high quality back then. I mean, you got hits like Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, Sweet Life on Deck, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, Jonas L.A., and then you got all the great Disney Channel original movies. So yeah, it was just a great time back then, and we didn't have COVID, and we didn't have this authoritarian regime over us. The New World Order was a lot younger. It was still trying to figure things out. So they weren't. I don't think the New World Order was really that organized back then as they are now. So I mean, that was just a. I just have good memories from that era. I live in Iowa now, but back then I grew up in Florida, so I'm almost 30. So most of my life was in Florida, but for the past about 10 years, I've been in Iowa. So yeah, that was just great memories. 2007 to like 2014 was like the best. After that, it just sort of went downhill. Um, just everything was better. The video game consoles were better. You got like the PS3, the Xbox 360. Um, Movies, people actually still went to movie theaters, and you had, the music was not as gross. The music that played on the radio was a lot more, not as gross as today's music. Today's music is just awful and obscene. And things were just better back then. I mean, that was when millennials were like teenagers, and you didn't have TikTok and all this, stuff that I think TikTok is very toxic and bad, but um, it was just a lot better. I mean, the whole idea of being a YouTuber, though, wasn't really a thing. So that was sort of a hit or miss. I mean, yes, there were a few YouTubers, but YouTube wasn't really a thing back then. Now it's sort of at its peak maturity. YouTube sort of hit its plateau. It can't really get much better than it already is. So basically, if you learn YouTube now, it's sort of like how it's going to be. So it's the learning curve is about over. I feel like YouTube's hit its peak. So just one of the few things, I don't really find joy in much things anymore. I don't really find joy in the things that I used to. So being creative, making videos, and having a space to do that. That's one of the few things that actually brings me, happiness. I don't feel happy anymore. I don't feel happy with a lot of things anymore. So I feel like that for whatever reason, the creative expression that God has given me to be creative and just to express my opinions and express my, I think everyone's got creativity in them, and a lot of people just never let out their creativity. So it sort of makes them, I think we were designed to get our creativity out. So whether that's YouTube or music or maybe your I don't know, a good chess player, or I don't know, but I just feel like everyone is supposed to get out what's inside of them, and it's not supposed to be bottled up. It's supposed to be expressed. And the day we live in now, even though I said that it used to be a lot better, there are some good parts about today. Basically, with technology the way it is, anyone can have a voice. Anyone can be online and have a voice. So those are just some thoughts I had that I wanted to get off my mind. And I'm just sort of getting used to the space. How it's going to work is I'm probably just going to be coming during the day to start off. And so during the day, I'll sort of treat that like a work, like a job. So making YouTube content, researching how to do better YouTube content, that'll sort of be like my job.